Welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. And this week, cats and genies and diamonds and golfers, oh my! We're talking about the Legend of Val! Cue the music! Hello there, capers, and as I said, welcome to Podcapers, the official podcast of a place to hang your cape. My name is Scott James Merridew, and this is a show where we talk about various geek and nerd-related topics, and are joined each week by a very special and different guest. And this week, we're talking with Kimberley Fountain and Emily Clapham about their bizarre but amazing webcomic, The Legend of Val. Kimberley, Emily, how are you doing?
Hey!
It was
Fantastic.
Good, I am glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Where are you guys calling from?
London.
Yeah.
London
all of
town.
London.
Oh, the whole place.
London.
London, innit?
Yeah.
It's not that big. It's fine.
Yeah, it does. Hey, I mean, I live in Edinburgh. I'm calling from Edinburgh, so, you know, I get the whole big city vibe. I get it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm laughing, but I've never been. It could be huge.
No, you're right, actually. I've never been to Scotland.
You've never been to Scotland?
I get so close, but we never get past the border.
They never let you. They never let you past the wall. Oh God! Well, you should definitely go. I mean, right now we're only just getting over the freezing cold. I've literally, like, last night I decided, you know what? Tonight I'm not gonna wear a jumper to bed. I'm not gonna do that. So.
Good. It's like holidays, isn't it? It's like you're in Spain.
Bognor Regis.
You guys, you mentioned Scotland in the comic. You're talking about, oh, where can you go that doesn't require a passport? Scotland? No, that's too cold. I don't want to say that's a stereotype, but you know.
It's a really unattainable
Well,
place.
you
for
did
us.
just feed into the stereotype.
Exactly.
Or is it well researched?
Oh.
Indeed. You know your geography.
Yeah, we're really hot on it.
Like, but although we're still asking the question, where is, what was it, Melwookie?
Well,
Ooh.
where is Milwaukee? That is the pertinent question of the comic.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
We'll find out. I'm still waiting to find out, and I don't like being kept in suspense.
Oh no, sorry, we can't disclose the location of Milwaukee just yet.
No. It may sound like a simple question, but that is a very deep question.
It's loaded.
It makes you take a step back and go, I don't know. I mean, I know, but we don't know.
Oh, you're teasing me now. Ugh. God. So before we talk about Melwookie and the Legend of Val, I want to talk about you guys. Let's introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, and why we should be listening to whatever you have to say.
Oh, yeah, maybe you shouldn't.
Justify your presence!
Yeah.
Well, I'm Kim, and I've known Emily for a very long time.
Yeah.
And so we're both childhood friends, and we both went to art school, and now we're in London, not making a lot of money. Same old story, really.
Yeah. I'm Emily. Hello.
Hello.
I am a person. Yeah. I
would hope so. I would hope so.
I don't
The
know.
most we can hope for on this podcast is to have guests on that are people. I mean, I pitched to David Malofsky, our editor in Cape, about maybe getting some barnyard animals on the show, but he didn't go for it for some reason.
He doesn't know. He doesn't have a vision for the future. He's too clouded by
I mean,
tradition.
it's a big demographic, the farmyard animal, group.
It is. I've heard other podcasts about farmyard animals. I don't know if they've interviewed them though.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's good.
it's a
Yeah.
gap in the market. It's a gap in the market. So, but you're both the writers of Legend of Val. You're both
Yes,
co-authors.
we write
Yeah.
together. Oh God, the creativity is electric. It's electric when we're together.
We just make stuff all the time. It's true. We compulsively can't not do anything. We have to make something. Something is always made whenever we meet up. It just happens. Yeah.
The creative juices start to flow.
Exactly. I mean, our
All
first
over the
creations.
table.
Oh, yeah. It's quite messy. It's an organic process.
What?
No.
What's that stain in the carpet? It's creative juices. Oh.
Exactly.
It's
It's not a mess.
We don't have people over often.
No.
It's not worth the question.
We wear washable clothing. Not stain resistant.
Yeah, that's stuff you can get from B&Q. They're like paper hazmat suits.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Generally, any creative session will start with that. Putting them on, putting some cling film over the table.
Yeah.
Laying down newspapers.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Normally the Metro or the Evening Standard.
Yeah.
Nothing of value in there. So.
Yeah.
No, and sometimes there's a disclaimer that we both sign.
I'm all about disclaimers on this show every time we do something spoiler related. Speaking of which, are we talking about spoilers for this comic? Would you like to?
No.
Nah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
for
that's
our
not.
demographic, and I do want to eventually be picked up by Warner Brothers. So spoilers
We'll
just
try
wouldn't be in our interest.
No.
We'll try and keep it as vague as possible, entice the capers into reading.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some stuff that's not spoilery, but to be honest, there's probably like 2 spoilers. We should be safe.
Yeah, we should be fine. Just that, you know, when you're not supposed to think or talk about something and it's all that's in your mind.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be tough.
Okay, blank it out.
Should I mention that guy has a hole in his head? Should I mention it? Oh, he's bleeding. I probably should mention it. I really shouldn't mention it. Maybe he knows. Maybe I'm just being, an inconvenience. I can't help it. I'm British.
And then we leave.
Yeah.
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 That's the human way.
Yeah. Walk out. Bye. Thank you.
One thing we can talk about is, where did this all come from? What is the secret origin of Legend of Val?
All right.
Wow.
It was dobbing off lessons in college.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
As most
Yeah.
great stories start, yeah.
I think so, if we're all honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
It was in IT lessons for A levels. Come on.
What the hell is that about?
What even was this?
Yeah. Joke.
And graphics, equally a rubbish lesson.
That was pointless.
Says the illustrators.
I know,
Oh,
but
it was that bad.
come on.
It was that bad.
Did you
I
get
just-
anything out of A levels? Anything?
Yeah, I got A levels.
Yeah, and where
I mean, they weren't good A levels. I'm not saying that they were brilliant A levels, but I got them. I'll hold on to that E in psychology with every single shred of my strength.
Yeah.
And so you should.
Yeah.
have on my
for you.
CV.
I'm bad at exams. Fuck you, UCAS.
Yeah, I didn't apply to uni until 3 or 4 years after A levels, so I didn't even use them to get into uni because
No,
I
that
was
didn't mean anything.
I was mature student level, so they don't ask for UCAS points.
Huh.
So they were literally nothing to me.
It's a good way to ride it out if you failed them, actually.
What
Yeah,
benefit
thank
does
you.
UCAS have at this point? What fucking benefit? The whole reason I did the Duke of Edinburgh Award was so that I could get
Oh.
UCAS points, and then they turn around and say, no, we're not accepting anymore. I climbed up fucking mountains! I got
Sorry.
scars, both mental and
Maybe
physical!
can't do anything. Sorry, mate.
Oh, God.
I feel like I really touched a nerve there.
Yeah. How hard was that climb?
It was so hard. The blisters, the cold. I climbed a mountains in Wales.
Oh.
Wales.
In my mind, when he said that, I thought he measured the mountain in the length of Wales.
Yeah.
How
I
many
think that's
Wales was
typical.
that?
It felt like I was
Wales.
climbing up
Yeah.
multiple Wales, I tell you that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to meet the Duke of Edinburgh at the end of it all, so, I mean, great. I got
Was
to
he
meet
at
an...
the mountain waiting?
No, yeah, he is at the top of Penny Fan, the tallest mountain in South Wales. He was waiting
Didn't
like,
know
like
it
top,
was
like,
cookie.
hello, well done, you've made it to the top of the mountain. Here, have a cookie.
Ah, that would be great. I'd feel ripped off if that didn't happen. Do you have to pay to do those?
No, I don't remember having to pay. Well, I was in school at the time.
Yeah, your
So-
mum
Yeah,
might
so
have.
you would
I
have to
started
do that.
from bronze and made my way up, and I paid in blood and sweat and tears.
You
which
shouldn't
is-
have bled. I think you did it wrong.
I wore my boots in, I wore the right amount of socks, and then the first day, I remember like when it was one day in Wales, we were walking along, and it had been a very nice day. It was the first day, and I thought, you know what? That was rather pleasant for Duke of Edinburgh. Yeah, I had nice people, good, nice weather, even though we're in Wales. You know what? It's nice. Get to the camp, set up the tent and everything. Oh, that's really great. Well, now I can relax. I can take off my shoes. I'm going to take off my socks as well, seeing it's such a nice day. There's blood on them.
What a disaster.
Yeah. It's sort of like a rite of passage, actually.
I suppose
think.
so.
I think everybody has to bleed a lot.
Although I've
into
not
their
done a
walking
hike
boots.
that made me bleed. It's probably normally like going clubbing in like really rubbish.
What are you clubbing,
Oh,
seals?
with
Jeez.
shoes. Or Shoe Zone. You know, the ones that cost £3.
Yeah. I remember those.
They're made of razor sharp plastic. Yeah.
Oh.
You've got to identify with that.
Yeah, yes. I often wear stilettos when I go clubbing, which is never.
Exactly.
Yeah. It is hard work, actually, dancing.
I think that's probably
stilettos.
yeah,
it's
equivalent
really
to
hard.
hiking. The amount of blood, I'm saying.
Yeah. The way that you walk, you do not look classy.
Yeah,
like
meter for litre.
legs apart. Focus
Why am I
away
wearing
on the
these shoes
sun.
that were originally made for butchers? I don't get it. Because there was so much blood in the butcher shops, I think they wore high heels. I heard that somewhere. I don't know if that's real or not. I wasn't good at history.
Keep out of the blood. That seems reasonable.
Well, that's sassy.
I mean, I still
Love
doubt they were
it.
like steel point stilettos.
No, I don't.
Well, maybe.
You can be a butcher and be sassy. Why not?
I know, like, why be put in a box like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they-
would have to be like PVC as well to like be stain. Again, stain. I'm very big on the stain-resistant materials.
I'm just imagining a lot of like Victorian butchers going like, "Bitch, I'm fabulous."
Yeah.
Exactly. Wading through those guts.
So you've got to be
Yeah.
careful waving that knife around.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. We were talking about the comic at one point. I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
happened. We go and tangent simple.
A-levels.
Started
Oh, yes,
A-levels.
okay, so yeah, the IT class, it was so boring.
So
And me and
boring.
Kim would always sit next to each other, and
A
we
disaster.
would, but yeah, so really bad with computers to this day. Hence the last minute.
Yeah, for those Podcapers that might be wondering, Kim and Emily are wearing like iPhone headphones in one ear each. They're sharing headphones. How intimate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Maybe don't skip your IT lessons, guys.
Yeah, they really help you further down the line.
Hear that, kids? Stay in school. Life lessons here on Podcapers.
Yeah. So we would I don't know about exactly how. Oh, what was the original story of it?
First of all, I think we were, because on our computer, it's the story is saved as a different story.
Yeah.
I think we wrote another story first that was like a page long. Don't remember what that was about. But we were basically just, we'd write a chapter each. It was originally written in prose.
Yeah.
And we'd write like a chapter each, just trying to make each other laugh in
Yeah.
IT lessons.
As you say, one-upmanship.
I mean, someone's
It
got to
was
laugh at
just-
an IT lesson. You got to make that happen somehow.
Exactly, yeah. It was, yeah, that was it. Who can make the other one crack?
Yeah.
Like a really stealth version of that game. Like, don't laugh, who laughs first, who laughs first loses.
Tip,
Yeah.
tap, tap.
Yeah, so
That's
that's sort of
fun.
how that happened. And then it just kept going, because, I mean, there were a lot of IT lessons.
There were.
God.
We had to fill a year
Yeah.
of IT. So.
Where did you guys go to school, if you don't mind me asking?
Back in our homeland of Bexhill-on-Sea.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You may have heard of it, but also no one has. So.
I've never heard of it. Sorry.
No.
It's near Hastings, which some people have heard of because
Yeah.
someone got shot in the eye there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, my dad. We went on holiday. No, that never happened. That never happened.
Lineage.
No, I'm not saying that my dad was King Harold.
You are.
Jeez.
That's what you said.
No.
And I'm buying into it.
Okay, sure. Yes, my dad was the ancient Anglo-Saxon king, King Harold, who got shot in the eye by William the fucking Conqueror.
It's incredible.
Expose here on Podcapers.
You heard it here
Oh,
first.
wow.
Yeah,
Who's
Great.
interviewing who?
Some
Ah!
great journalism there.
just less than 1,000 years old, me. Jeez. Oh god.
Yeah, you must eat really well.
Uh,
All those hype.
Well, you know, it's a lot of carrots. It really is. It's not just for eyesight, although
Yeah.
with the red and blue glasses, certainly I do need those.
Yeah.
What? So the one eye's from all the carrots, the red one, but the blue you've still got to eat a few more.
Yeah, absolutely.
100 pounds.
That's why
Yeah.
that's there. It's not just because I look awesome in them.
Oh, no. I mean, goes without
Now we
saying.
know there's a practical reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it evolved out of your ITC lessons, and so was it always this surreal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If not more, because we're not very good novel writers.
Who needs structure? Who needs the scene having a
no, we
point?
didn't. It was brilliant. There were so many inconsistencies. You know the sexy wizard?
Oh yeah, the sultry wizard. What is
Yeah.
his name? I've got his name
He's
up
a good
here
example
somewhere.
because in the prose he was described as scantily clad by one of us, and then a few sentences later, when the writing switched, he was in a boiler suit. That's why he has that really nice boiler suit with the revealing panels
Yes.
Yeah.
later on, because it was a best of both worlds. So many descriptions of him that don't match, and that happens a lot in the.
I think the
written
best
version.
description of him is his name, Garangestyle Bong McNabb.
It's a
Yeah.
very.
I haven't had that pronunciation before, but I love it.
I made a note of his name because I thought that is a fucking excellent name.
I don't know if we really had an idea of saying it out loud when we wrote it.
No,
though.
it was just like, oh, I'll just type these without looking.
How do you
Oh.
say it?
Garangaskill Bong McNabb.
I say Garanja steel.
I mean, I just wrote it down, so I'm not going to pretend like that my way is the correct way to pronounce it. I think your guys is the definitive version
No,
of that.
We didn't have one.
Yeah, we can't agree. What we need is a languages expert because it's got accents and stuff.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Get the
Like,
guy who made the Dothraki language for Game of Thrones in.
Mm.
All right, yeah, I'll email him after this.
Yeah.
And then I'll let you know
Yeah, let's do it.
what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, I love surreal humor. I love things like it very reminded me of stuff like Terry Pratchett and Douglas Adams and stuff like that. And that was really good. Was that an influence or was it just coincidence?
Well, this is when we were writing it, and even when we were converting it into a comic, I didn't notice these, but reading it back, I picked those up too, and they are stuff we read and watched growing up. So, and
Yeah.
Monty Python, a lot of that,
Oh yeah.
and I really do see that in there. So I think,
Yeah.
unintentionally, I'm pretty sure those were heavy influences on how we
Yeah,
write.
yeah.
And-
It's got that sort of procrastinatory, flowy, awesome sort of thing
Yes.
going on. But
Yeah.
so I want but we talked a bit about it before. But I want for you to describe the Capers in your own words, however detailed you'd like to go, what this comic is all about. Because I'm sure some people, upon hearing about a sultry wizard, have some questions.
Yeah, there is what? I love sultry wizards. It's a story about a group of friends.
Uh-huh.
Friends in quotation marks.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
people who know each other.
Yeah.
There's a small group.
With a relation.
Yeah. All right. This is so hard. I've developed my elevator pitch for this over several years because it's tricky. It's a group of friends. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Who are on a quest to find their mum so they can borrow some money because they need money. But
A
their
frequent
mum-
quest that many millennials find themselves on.
Exactly. It's
Very
very
relatable.
Very relatable.
Yeah.
Definitely. Especially in this day and age.
Very relevant.
So
Yeah.
they're trying to borrow money.
Thanks
from
for
their
the
mum
economy,
and-
baby boomers! Loving
Yeah.
it!
Yeah.
This is because of it. Wait, they've done something nice. They've brought us this wonderful comic. Soon to be a movie franchise. You wait. You
Oh
wait.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I believe. They're going on a
No
quest to
joking
borrow
aside,
money, and
no joking aside, I would love to see this on the screen. I would love to see it in a
I
TV
know,
format.
too.
Yeah.
Or-
Oh,
you
have you
just-
ever thought about like a dream casting for them?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't. But I like that
think-
idea.
Ugh, someone really strong for Kim.
How about Dwayne The Rock Johnson? How about that?
Oh, that would be
Strong
nice.
and beautiful.
No, I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
I would have to have Kelsey Grammer for Jasper. I think we've always agreed on that.
Oh, he's always been.
Well, there
gorgeous,
is
yeah.
an overt Frasier reference at one point.
subtle.
Yeah.
Hey baby, I hear the blues are calling to salads and scrambled eggs. Mercy. And maybe I seem a bit confused, but baby, I got you pegged. But I don't know what to do with those salads and scrambled eggs. They're calling again. Scrambled eggs all over my face. What is a boy to do? Bim, bim, bim. I'm cool.
That was lovely. I really.
No, that was good. That was the spirit. That was the sound of Jasper.
Yeah.
If he was a sound, that would be him.
So
Should we just get
Who could be Johnny?
What's his?
Well, Johnny.
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis as Johnny would be excellent. I think.
So disturbing. You really add to it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Especially if he's CGI. So, the rest of the pitch.
Oh,
God,
right,
we're so
sorry,
bad at
the
this.
pitch. Okay, let's be serious. Pretend we're talking.
Why? You're on Podcapers.
You're right.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
this bunch of idiots
Yeah.
who are loosely friends are trying to borrow some money, and on their adventure to find their mum to borrow money from, they get into any situation you can imagine.
Yeah.
And some you can't.
That's the thing I love about this. I love many things about this comic. One of the things I love is, here's the thing. I've consumed a lot of media. And I've mentioned on this show before that sometimes I don't know if something is being genuinely really boring and predictable, or whether it's just I've seen so many things that I'm used to all the tropes and all the structure and everything like that, so I can sort of see it coming. I genuinely had not a single fucking solitary clue where this comic was going at any point. And I love it for it. You think you get a grip on things. You think you know what this show thing is all about. And then it's just like, whoops, something else entirely. And it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. That is the biggest compliment ever.
I've
That's
heard
totally
that
what
a
we
lot.
go for. Yeah.
On one of the websites, so we've got our own comic hosting website, but I also host on Tapastic, and a lot of the commenters always say like, oh, this is what the punchline's going to be, and then the next page comes up and they're like, oh.
Oh, right.
Okay. How dare you subvert my expectations?
Yeah. It comes from that kind of stream of consciousness kind of writing, and we really didn't want to lose that at all.
No,
we
yeah.
haven't lost it. We've kept on to that and
Yes.
kept using it because it's just so fun. It's so free.
Yeah, there's a lot of things sometimes where we're writing it, we're going, we can't do that, and then we just do it anyway.
Yeah,
Yes, you
fine.
can. It's your comic.
Yeah.
You can do-
Exactly.
You're like, oh no.
I mean, I this sort of thing, okay, there's swears, stuff like that. Oh, and now there's violence. Oh, and now there's nudity. Oh, and now there's Frasier. Okay.
Nudity.
Yeah. You can do
Real
whatever the fuck
nudity.
you want. But that's the thing. You do whatever the fuck you want, but it's also like, it's silly and ridiculous, but there's always a point to it, even if the point is just being silly and ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's never just like, because I mean, I've seen things, in fact I've done things where you just slap any old shit on the page and say, oh, it's stream of consciousness, oh, it's random, lol, so random. And it's very very clever writing when you make something seem lol so random, but it's not. Like Monty Python, that was something that they were very good at. It seemed like, oh, this is just nonsense, but actually there's a method behind the madness.
Douglas Adams was just like so the king of that. I don't know how many years until we're as good at writing as Douglas, because I think a lot of it is I don't know, I think you're the same, but it can be quite hard to keep track of thoughts and ideas. That's why we've got like a timeline on the wall in the office and stuff, because if we don't write it down, we'll forget an idea we had.
It kind of lets you not worry about remembering it, so you can just kind of relax and explore a hilarious idea, and then think, right, okay, but that's physically on the wall, so I don't have to remember that in my mind.
I can't remember what it means, I don't know the context, but fuck it, we're gonna put it in there.
I reread the whole thing in one go quite often, and then that's when I go, oh, that thing. I need to remember to expand on that, and then I'll write that on the wall. There's not a lot of plot points like that because the plot's quite loose. There is a plot, but it's probably got about 4 plot points that we need to stick to, and the rest is just do what we want.
That's the other thing. It's oh god, what was I gonna say? It's Damn my brain! I had a question in my mind, but anyway.
It might come back. It'll come.
It probably will come back. So I think it's best we talked about like Jasmine stuff like that. I want to talk about the characters. Now, the two main characters are Kim and Emily. Now, what prompted you to come up with those out of the box names?
Where did we even get the idea?
It's because of the roots of the story.
Yeah, because we were writing it about ourselves.
Exactly. It was like, so for example, we would write, so in one chapter, if I was writing it, I'd be like, Emily was so beautiful and majestic, and Kim's face was melting onto the train track.
That was so fun. That was something that was really hard, and I don't think we succeeded. It was really hard to carry that over into the comics because it's a different style of writing. So what we do now is we go chapter by chapter through the prose and adapt it into like a screenplay style, and then I make that into the comic.
Oh, see, that's interesting. I mean, I've heard of people like writing it down in sort of like prose format and then converting it into script and then into the comic, but it's very rare that happens, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, I think it's because it didn't start out as a comic, but because I started growing. I got a growing interest in comics and stuff, and we thought this would make a nice comic.
Yeah.
It took us a really long time. So we started writing this in 2007. I don't think we got the idea. We found some old stuff. It's fun. What's this? Whoa. Oh. This is when we're trying to come up with the name for it. And I think we were talking about this. This is probably like 2011, 2012. So it wasn't until
I love that you showed it to me, bearing in mind this is a podcast and only audio.
Listeners, look at this piece of paper.
You got a good grasp on the medium.
I did, yeah.
IT lessons. Didn't get it.
There's a black biro, I would say, not a ballpoint pen. Biro. Well, I suppose that is a ballpoint pen.
It's really important information.
I'm looking at a flow chart, Capers. I'm trying to describe things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suppose it's because it wasn't intended to be a comic at first. And if I ever made other comics, I've made like a couple of short ones, and I'm making another one now. I would just go straight to script. This is unusual, but I think it's helped because it's a lot.
But if it works, then I see no reason to question it.
And like 10 years of growth has happened. So some of the things we thought were really funny when we were 17 aren't quite as funny anymore. So it gives us a chance to sort of edit as well and make things better.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think you set the bar pretty high to start off with. So we got Kim and Emily. They're the two main characters.
Yeah.
So how would you describe Kim? Comic
Kim,
not.
Yeah, which Kim?
This is gonna get confusing.
Yeah. I would say if anyone wants to make a comic, don't name the characters after yourself. But anyway.
If only Will Smith had learned that.
I know. Yeah. I think that's probably where I got the idea, because his agent told him to do that.
Right? Yeah.
Or was it?
It was a very professional
Carlton
decision.
Yeah. And I thought, well, I think
it was Alphonse Ribeiro? Not Alphonse Ribeiro. Yeah. Well, the guy who played Carlton.
I don't know how to say his second name out loud, but yeah, Carlton told him that, I think.
Yeah. Apparently.
So I was like, well, I'm gonna listen to Carlton.
Well, he is a font of wisdom.
Yes. Actually, you're right. He'd be a sensible one to have like a figurine of on your mantelpiece. Like a
sensible choice. You don't want anything like you out there.
No.
I'm getting an insight into how your guys' mind work.
I should have figurines of him.
So, Comic Kim is...
Sorry. Oh no. Comic Kim. She's very action-oriented.
She does like punching things, I've noticed.
She's quite aggressive, and I think she's very insecure. She wants to be well-liked and personable, but isn't. And that's...
But at what cost?
Yeah, and she's unemployed through choice.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Just like everyone in the comic.
And as I'm sure are many people, unemployed by choice. I choose this. I choose the poverty.
Love not getting paid. It's my favourite.
Yeah, totally. So everything has...
Especially where you can just get magic diamonds,
Oh, yeah. And what we're going to do with these pieces of shit.
Yeah, they're useless. We just need money.
Oh, yeah, that's it. The Friday ad. We want to sell them in the Friday ad. But since moving to London, and I lived in Essex for a bit, Friday ad, I think, might just be an East Sussex thing.
Is it still there?
Yeah. Do you have, like, the Friday ad?
I have literally no idea what you're talking about.
Right?
Okay.
So it's like a little... They print it every 2 weeks, I think, and it's quite a thick for a newspaper style newspaper thing, but it's all for advertising services. It's like a mini Yellow Pages, but local.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can there's a 3 or 4 pages a week where you can just anybody's just like selling themselves like Gumtree before the internet.
Yeah, it is Gumtree.
And
okay. A relic from a bygone era, then. Okay. Yeah, I never saw. I don't read newspapers. I never saw that. I'm remarkably uninformed. So that's what sets the plot in motion. We won't go into that too much right now. We need to talk about Emily, comic Emily.
I mean, you're Emily, so off
you
go.
Okay, so Emily's character.
Yeah.
She is she's kind of a bit dim. She's a bit dim, and she just kind of goes with things, and she's got a real violent streak in her too. She's
much more.
I think it's safe to say all the characters in this are fucking psychopaths.
Yeah.
But she tends to think with her heart a lot.
I would
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does. She's very emotional, and she's very attached to Johnny, very protective of him.
Very endearing.
Yeah.
I can't stand the guy.
I mean, Johnny. Let's talk about Johnny now. Literally, one of the first bits you see in the movie is like they're flat, and Johnny is like licking himself like a cat. That's literally the first thing you see. So, I was gonna say this. What the fuck is up with Johnny? What's going on there? Is he ill?
Yeah.
Well, Johnny, as far as the characters can remember, has always been like that. It's just always been the way, and
very
they're
animalistic.
quite used to taking stuff in their stride.
Yeah.
We
don't question it. I was stupid to even bring it up, just questioning it. Just like accept it, and you'll be much happier.
It's just normal.
Yeah, it's true. That is true.
But,
yeah,
you will find out more about Johnny the more it goes on.
Yeah. Just a cat within.
And he gets his own little arc. Some things happen to him throughout that makes you wonder where his character is going to go, which we won't get into because, frankly, dear God, read the comic, Capers, read the comic. I swear to God, it's an interesting things happen to him. But there's a very interesting character in terms of Jasper.
Yeah,
he's a fan favorite.
He's great. We love Jasper.
So Jasper's based on a real cat. This is weirdly based on Emily's family for some reason.
Yeah, so Johnny is my brother.
In real life.
I'm sure he's delighted about his portrayal in this comic.
Do you know what? The way that Kim has drawn him really looks like him. So I had quite a powerful
Yeah.
When I saw
in issue 3. Yeah. With that golfer in the sand.
Oh yeah.
no one wants to see their do that.
It was pretty uncomfortable to draw, to be honest.
Yeah.
I grew up with him a bit. So.
Yeah, true. So that was uncomfortable. But
we had to do it.
Yeah.
It's artistic integrity.
Because it makes you uncomfortable, you have to do it. It's breaking that boundary.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he'll never sue us. Misuse of his
mental trauma.
I don't know if he showed his wife.
No, yeah, she's seen this. She still loves him. That's the true test of love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Because I'm looking at you two right now. And your characters don't look that much like you.
No, I was going more with that. I think when I started designing them the first time, many years ago, I was trying to make them look more like us. But then I started going into the design school thing of silhouettes and shapes. So I made Emily rectangular and Kim round.
More oval.
Yeah, and then Emily and Johnny, because they're related, have the same face. Just different hair.
Yeah. Long hair, short hair.
Yeah, that's why. And I've changed my hair a lot over the years. I think when we started doing this, you probably had blue hair.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, how bohemian.
Oh,
I know, right.
We were very
edgy.
cultural and edgy in the Bexhill.
The emo.
I don't care for your rules, society. I'm my own person.
Yeah. Take that. Now here's
Exactly.
£40 for a haircut and colour.
Which I'll pay to get done professionally. Yeah, I wasn't that edgy. I didn't do it in like the bathroom with a bottle of toilet bleach. No, I actually paid for that.
Yeah.
No,
I wear red and blue 3D glasses all the time, so I'm in no position to judge.
There we go.
Yeah.
So,
But Jasper he is now passed on to another world.
hooray!
But Jasper was
Very
a
sorry about
family
that.
cat.
Oh,
Who I hate. I still hate him,
In
even
real
though he's
life.
dead.
Yeah, I
Not
know.
a, yeah, no, yeah. I don't want to bring this up considering something happened to the comic and someone says this line and bad things happen, but you're not a cat person, are you?
I am. I just don't like that one.
No,
Oh.
Jasper was an absolute twat. He was such a shit cat.
Oh.
But
He was.
you know, like I think I loved him more because of it. You know, I think a
You
lot
did.
of cat lovers love their cats because they're so comically horrible to them. And Jasper was just so vicious.
I think that's pretty much the definition of an abusive relationship. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's not healthy.
No, it's not. It
You were
wasn't. It was
convinced he
really-
had brain damage.
Yeah, because right, he went missing for like a week, and then he came back with this massive gash on his forehead, and he was a bit more violent. So we thought he had been like, you know, some kind of brain damage had happened when he was probably hit by something.
And that sounds like excuse
Yeah, I
for a
know.
terrible child.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he found Val. Who knows? Maybe that's where he went.
Yeah, I mean, you moved out and he was alone with Val. So Val is really Emily's mum in real life.
In real life, yeah.
Oh, in real life, she's called Val. And how does she feel having a comic named after her?
She really likes
She's
it.
she quite likes it. She thinks it's quite funny.
Yeah.
She's kind of horrified by how she's portrayed in the
Yes.
comic because you know
She's not there! They've yet to find her!
It's gonna be a long time.
She's like, you know, she's all like, oh, don't look for me. I hate you. Mom,
I mean,
kiss, kiss, kiss.
It's a vibe I picked up.
Are you
Yeah.
still here? Oh.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
maybe
we were
she
done
just
with
didn't
this.
like me as a friend.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be.
You're a bad influence.
Yeah, so a lot of the characters are named not Garanja still, Garanga style. He's not named after anyone. A lot of the characters are named after our classmates at the time, like Rowan
Oh,
and
yeah.
who else is there that's named after a classmate? A lot of the people from the flashback.
Oh, yeah. Because there are flashbacks in the comic where, back to where you guys are in school. You're not in ICT class, you're in science class.
Science
Yeah.
class. Oh, yeah.
That's different!
What an important class that was.
Wasn't it just?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fun. That's as far as I can remember what our classroom really looked like.
Yeah, it was like
And our
it was
uniform.
like a prison.
I mean, all school science labs looks pretty much exactly the same. Weird, clunky wooden plinth things and Bunsen burners and those weird curvy taps.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's
With
brilliant.
like the little rubber tube on, which you would whack.
Yes, true. Ping the tube. Yeah.
Okay,
We all
you
did it,
might. I
right?
never touched anything because I was afraid I was going to blow the whole place up. It could have happened.
Oh
Also-
yeah, there were like the cool kids would always turn the taps of gas, and I'd be like, oh my god, stop.
Yeah, get the lighter out.
What are you doing?
Might surprise you, but I was not the cool kid at school.
Nope.
I think you were maybe
No.
treading water with some people.
Yeah. But you know, that's school. You kind of dragged along with various groups of people and you just in it to survive.
Yeah, just trying to live until you're 18. Jeez, and then you're free. You're free.
Yeah.
And then you pay to go back.
Yeah. I willingly offer my money to return to this environment. I'm a smart person. So I like uni though. Two things I want to mention actually. First of all, I also had a pet named Jasper when I was growing up.
Oh, nice. So you
Although
got
it
like
was-
a real emotional connection.
Yeah, although it was a dog and I loved him. He was awesome. He was an awesome dog. And
Anything like Frasier about him, but out of interest. It's quite indulgent.
no,
Just
you know what? He was like Daphne Moon. That's what he was like.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I don't think I never imagined him with a Mancunian accent, but...
Yeah, you never think about accents for your pets.
No, because that's a weird thing to think about.
It's not that weird. Yeah, I'm sure they have accents. What if they met another dog from somewhere else?
Like a Staffordshire Terrier would have an accent from Staffordshire.
If they grew up there, probably would. I mean, what if they grew up in Italy?
Oh, an Italian greyhound, something like that.
So,
Go.
Podcapers, asking the serious questions. Before we continue on talking about the Legend of Val, do you want to learn how to make comics? Are you looking for something to help you get started, like, say, a course taught by one of the best in the biz? Well, Neil Gibson, editor and head writer at T-Pub Comics, who brought you titles like Twisted Dark, Tabitha, and Theatrics, is doing just that! Neil is offering a free webinar for anyone who wants to learn the T-Pub method for making comics. If you like the webinar, you can sign on to his web course and use the code CAPE, that's all caps, C-A-P-E, Charlie Alpha Papo Echo, to get a 5% discount! What a bargain! You'll learn everything from how to write a comic script all the way through to how to market your final product. Even if you can't draw, this course will help you break into the comic industry. So sign up for the webinar at tpub.co.uk/free-webinar, or use the link in the show notes and use the code CAPE if you want to sign up for the course. Trust me, you won't regret it. Now back to the review! Now, okay, so one other thing I want to talk about, sorry about that, We've got to keep the lights on. Although I should point out, in my room...
And the heating, it's cold up there. It is cold.
Keep the heat. The heating's on right now. It's still a bit better, but it's still cold. And also, like, none of the lights work in my room. So anytime I have to Skype or do a podcast with people in other countries, I'm in darkness.
They could, like, a torch.
Like, you could put it under your chin.
I have nothing. I could take my iPhone and shine it under my face, like, here, I'll try and do the there. See?
Oh, perfect.
Blah, blah, blah. No.
I think it adds a bit of atmosphere, a bit of edge. You don't want anyone to be too relaxed when you're interviewing them.
No, it's true. Who wants that?
I like how I shone a light under my face and no one here listening knew about that because, again, audio podcast.
We're dragging you down, your normal professional edge.
You are a bad influence, both of you. Oh,
Sorry.
God. So,
Wow.
You talked about when you were making it, sort of like how you do you do a chapter and then someone else would do a chapter. So was that the same thing here? What was the division of labor in terms of writing?
Oh, no. So for me, the hardest part is writing the script. So I need Emily.
Yeah.
I need you here.
This valuable skill.
Yes, valuable skill writing the fucking comic.
Yeah, exactly. So we normally get like I think it was a lot more random and freeform at the beginning. We've gotten a bit more like into organising it now. So normally I'll come to Emily with okay, we're going to hit these plot points in this chapter. Mm-hmm. Here's the original text. What we're going to keep, what aren't we? And now let's write some dialogue.
Yeah.
And then that's when we start like throwing all the jokes at each other and crying in public. Normally in a cafe or bar.
Yeah, it's pretty good process.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, where else are you gonna do it? At home, in a studio? No, you need to be in a cafe and bar.
I think we do it in our houses now, but I used to live in like a mouldy studio room, so it wasn't great. Anything to get out of it.
True. Excuse me.
You are excused.
That's the first time I've ever sneezed while recording Podcapers, dear God.
Oh, history's been made.
50 plus episodes, and this took this long. A momentous occasion.
Congratulations.
Yeah, big day.
Indeed.
Wow. There's one scene, and it's something I don't think anyone will have noticed or understood in the one.
Oh, I did notice, and I don't understand.
Okay, you're right. When Emily's going through, this could be a different scene. When Emily's going through the wizard's mansion and opening rooms, one of them she opens a dark room with some people half dressed. That was because
what the shining is going on here?
When in one of the cafes we were writing in, we went into the bathroom and some people were getting ready to do a performance.
Yeah, because I went downstairs to look for the toilet, right? And there were two doors and they both had windows in. So I just sort of looked up and peeked through, like a little high round window thing. I looked through and there were these like two guys, or I don't know, like covered in face paint and weird, like, face-deforming masks, pulling really weird poses in a dark room lit with really strange ambient kind of lighting.
Yeah.
Kind of like, what's his name? Like Lee Bowery, that really weird performance artist who, like, it's really creepy.
Sure
and it just gave me shivers.
She came back to the table and says, "We've got to include this."
One of the rooms.
It affected you. It disturbed you.
Yeah.
I just like how this story started with you basically invading someone's privacy and peeking through into a bathroom or whatever, and then you just put it in your comic.
Yeah. It was an amazing moment.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it.
So, you know, sometimes things get in there that are maybe just for you and me.
But we utilise them.
Yeah.
It's your comic, I guess you're allowed. I think, I don't know. I mean, I would be careful with that because I've seen instances of other comics. I think there was a pretty famous incident a while back with someone's webcomic. I can't remember what it was. It was about like video games and stuff, and there was suddenly it was supposed to be quite funny, and then there was a scene where the guy in the comic's girlfriend has a miscarriage out of nowhere, and it was played really serious, and it came out of nowhere, and it's just. It's one of the, I mean, again, I will not tell you what to do with your graphic novel. I would say avoid stuff like that, maybe.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, this isn't really a spoiler, but there will be no miscarriages.
I mean, it was a bit of a plot twist, but it's gone now.
Yeah, we'll scrap that.
We'll heed your advice.
Well, that's. I'm sure I'll find a way to live with that. And so I mean, the way you drew that, it was very dark, and I couldn't quite make out stuff that was going on. I was like, oh, what is that? That must mean something, but then I don't understand anything else that's happening in this comic, so you're just sort of accepted by that. But if that had been the first thing we saw in the comic, I'd be like, what the hell? But now I can just accept it. And so I do want to talk...
We've eased everyone in.
I do want to talk about the art style, though. So it's Kim, you're the one who draws
That's
it.
right, I'm the artist.
I nearly said you're the one who arts it.
Well, yeah, I am. It's a verb now. Let's do it,
everybody.
Yeah, so obviously you talked a bit about different shapes and stuff like that. So anything else that goes into how you draw it and how you illustrate it?
I don't know. Well, I started out, I picked the simplest drawing style because I knew this was going to be quite long. We've estimated it's going to be about, what are we on, 8? We're about halfway through now. We're on 8.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be about 16 chapters long.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah. But it does have a planned end, which shocks some people.
Yeah, it really does.
Method to your madness, like we keep saying, yeah.
Yeah. There is a plan, however vague. So we're about halfway through. So I knew it was going to be a few years dedicated work. So I picked something quite simple. So I went for the simple shapes. The colouring's quite blocky. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it works for though. I mean, I've seen very simplistic, very bare bones art and stuff like that, which can work. And I've seen really detailed art, and this is somewhere I think sort of in the middle. Obviously, it's got that sort of cartoony thing.
Yeah.
In fact, it's I don't know if you guys have listened to the show before, but we've had on the show a couple of times this great writer and artist Rachel Smith, who's done a lot of great stuff. And your style reminds me a bit of hers, except with a bit less. It's a bit more out there, if you will. It's a similar sort of thing, but one thing that really struck me about it is the noses. I call them Muppet noses because they're.
Oh yeah. I don't know why I went with that. I was just like, oh yeah, cool. Yeah. That makes it different from my other stuff. Yeah, I have a slightly more serious art style, which is pretty similar, to be honest. Just a little bit more less geometric shapes, more realistic, and generally I don't fill in the noses. I just thought this makes it look fun and like I'm drawing it simple on purpose, because when I started the art's so much better now, but that's what happens.
I mean, I think the art has been I think the art has been pretty consistent throughout. I mean, I don't have the best eye for it, but I do think that you know, you could look at the first issue and then look at the latest one and say, okay, maybe there's a bit of a marked improvement, but it still feels like the same comic. I guess the best comparison, again, I keep on making this comparison with people that come on the show, is Scott Pilgrim. When you look at the first issues of Scott Pilgrim and then the very last one, there is a difference, but it's still like, oh yeah, that's Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. It's sort of just like a more refined, I guess. Cause
you
draw it so much.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that amazes me every time is that, so we'll like get together before the chapter and write it out together and just do that. And I'm just always amazed at how accurately like Kim portrays it, just how I imagined it. I'm like, I can't believe it. This is exactly how I imagined this.
Because I've known you so long.
Get out of my head, Kim!
Exactly, I know, it's so weird. And the facial expressions are so hilarious and over the top and expressive. So
that's from years of drawing myself in the mirror. So like, I think
so beautiful, I must draw myself.
Yeah. Oh, I'm kind of sight to behold. I think I've always been practicing drawing people. I'm pretty rubbish at drawing animals. I always have to use a photo reference for them because I didn't have pets and I've never drawn animals. I was just always drawing me. Great at drawing
It's
me.
an entirely different style and anatomy, and what works for drawing humans doesn't also always work for drawing animals. So yeah, I get that. But I mean, it's pretty cool that there's like eagles and stuff in this at one point. So I recognize them. I recognize them as giant fucking birds. So I think it works.
Yeah, I think I'm getting better. We do have a drawing that no one but you can see somewhere here of the eagle ship I drew like 10 years ago. That's pretty shit.
But it's good to know that you've got a critical eye on your own work.
Yeah, things change. It's fun. So how long have I been drawing? 3 years? 4 years? 3 years?
Yeah.
4 years? I don't remember. A time has passed.
A time.
Yeah.
Time is an illusion.
Yeah.
It's a concept. It's interesting though because you've just found Kim's just found a pile of the original stuff.
I found it last night.
Yeah, I know. And it's just mad to actually look back at it and see actually how much it has come on and what our original ideas are. For example, the name.
Oh yeah.
Right?
One working name.
What we originally wrote down for the name of this wasn't the Legend of Val, but Foursome Awesome.
With an
Foursome Awesome.
Yeah,
good job we did that. With like the number 4.
Still a better title than Fan Four Stick. Still a better title.
You're not wrong there.
Branding, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like the logo.
I feel like the only reason we didn't go for that is because there was something that already existed with that name.
Oh,
I swear that's what happened.
Damn, I was gonna steal that for myself.
No. So the Legend of Val was not an IP I had any trouble getting domain names for. Absolutely fine. So
yeah.
No one's thinking about the legendary Celtic warrior Val or something like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah. yes, she was. Yes.
Oh god. So you said we're on chapter 8, issue 8 so far, and so he was going to go up to 16.
Yes. So, it might be. It's around 16. When we're writing it, some things get cut out, some things get expanded on. There's one, the 2 issues where we all went on separate adventures.
Oh yes, that was really interesting, and that reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's like there's scenes like episodes in season 2, I think it was, where a couple of people are split up from each other, and you see them on different paths. Or more recently, Ruby. I don't know if you guys watch Ruby from Rooster Teeth.
No.
Watch Ruby; it's fucking amazing. But in a more recent series, the gang, the various characters of Ruby split up. And they've only recently just gotten back together, and it was awesome. It was reunion. Ruby is basically a CGI animated series by Rooster Teeth, who did like Red vs. Blue and lots of other things. And it's basically it starts off being about these 4 girls who attend the school where they learn how to fight monsters.
Sounds great. Already, I'm in.
Yeah, and 2 of them wear combat skirts, and they have giant weapons.
God. Well, they give you a lot of freedom of movement.
Exactly.
You do actually. Yeah. Skirt and big pants, you're good to go.
Yeah. Long skirts, bad idea. Short skirts,
perfect.
Easy.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Right? Tennis.
Exactly.
Basically tennis.
Are you sure that's not tennis? Yeah.
I know a lot about tennis. I don't.
I think one of the only things I know is that they wear short skirts. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's, that's another thing I like about it. Talking about their outfits, if you will, their costumes. They've changed a bit as the story has gone on. They've accessorized to a certain extent, especially Emily.
Yeah. My favourite thing, when growing up, I always hated it. I watched pretty much exclusively cartoons my whole life. I hated.
We're allowed to do that! We're adults, we can watch whatever the fuck we want! I'm going to go on a rant. I'm going to go on a rant on this. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go on a rant on this. When I was doing my master's degree a few years ago, we had to do a presentation about the structure of certain TV series that we liked, or some movie, and I chose Avatar: The Last Airbender. And
that's a pretty high benchmark.
Yeah, because I fucking love Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I'm not gonna lie, I knocked that presentation out of the fucking park. But a lot of people in the assembled crowd were a bit, like, nonplussed, if you were allowed to say, that because it was a cartoon and I was a grown man talking about a cartoon. And I was just like, why would you talk about a cartoon? And I was like, because it's good.
Yeah.
And I'm really fucking sick of people saying that you can't watch or like cartoons just because they're aimed at kids. I understand that Avatar: The Last Airbender is not aimed at me. I didn't watch it when it first came out.
Yes, though. It's got enough, like, layers to it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's another thing. See, you can aim something at children and still have it have layers and still be good. I don't.
Yeah, children grow up and then watch it.
Well, even then, even when they're, even if they. I'm about to say even if they don't grow up, even if they go to Neverland.
Oh no!
Why
can't we get out of this child murder thing?
I was talking about Peter Pan and Neverland. Your mind's going a different way from mine. No, but it's like, even if they're just even forgetting about the future, like, there's no reason why a children's cartoon can't be sophisticated and intelligent and have layers and have depths. There's no reason for that. And yes, it means you can enjoy it when you grow up still, but children do still enjoy that. And let's be honest, the most people that were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender were children. So I really think we just, as a society, need to get away from this mentality.
I'm quite lucky because we went to, like, what did you do at uni then? Film studies or something along those lines? I don't know.
Along those lines, I did my undergrad and master's degree in screenwriting.
Oh, okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like now that I've moved to London and went to art school, I've got this little bubble of friends who don't look down on me for liking cartoons. And then I go out to work in a shop. Not so much the shop I work in now, but I used to work in, like, a high street shop. And, yeah, everyone's like, what? Cartoons? What are you talking about? And then I remember, that's how people think of me.
Yeah.
And these same people will go and see Frozen 50 fucking times. Or they'll watch anime and stuff like that.
I know you don't like Disney, but I love Frozen.
What?
Get over it.
I will not get over it! I've already ranted once. That's a rant for another fucking day. So there was one thing I noticed in one of the issues was that it was an Ask Emily segment.
Oh yeah. We'll probably do one of those again.
Yeah, that was fun.
Well, there was only one. I was like, where's the rest of it? I want to see whatever inane questions people asked Enemy.
Yeah, I think we do better now as well because our fan base was a lot smaller then.
Yeah. So we got
I think a lot of the people asking questions were people I knew. Most of them. So we've got a slightly bigger fan base now. We'd actually get some. We did do a Q&A on one of our websites, and some of them ended up in the published copies. I don't know if you saw those because they wouldn't have been on my website. That's silly. I'll put them on there. So, yeah.
It was just something that you decided, what the fuck, let's do, and just asking weird questions about people and their toenail clippings.
Yeah,
pretty much. Exactly. No, I mean it was good to fill the pages, and it was fun. Yeah. It's always fun to develop the character all the time. I mean, there's so many ways you can do that.
Because that was us, the character, not the real Emily. Although there's not a huge difference.
Nah,
between.
Not really.
I'm getting the sense of that. Yeah, I'm getting the sense.
They're drawn on real, like
I mean, they're exaggerated a lot, and people are like, "Oh, is that what it's really like?" And I'm like, "Not really."
There's a bit of truth in this.
We're blurring the lines between reality and fiction.
We really are.
Okay, so for example, in which chapter is it? The second one?
I don't know.
With the Mars bar.
At
Couldn't Beach Hotel. That was actually based on a real event.
Where you sort of try to hypnotise a guy into giving you a Mars bar.
I think we just didn't. We didn't have money, so again, drawn from real events.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And of course, you needed a Mars bar. Of course.
We did. And this guy from the train station, he was based on a real person.
He's real.
We were really asking him for things for free because we were really thirsty and hungry. And
we were also, I think, if I was forced to hang out with 17-year-old me, I would have the worst time of my life. So there's also that to consider.
Yeah, true. Yeah. And we've had some misadventures. I mean, because when we were, you know, like growing up together, we would just constantly find ourselves in ridiculous situations from things that we thought were a good idea.
Which never were.
Never worked. Yeah. No. So in hindsight, they were really funny. But
I didn't have that growing up. I mean, I suppose I could say there's one or two interesting things that have happened to me when I was growing up. But honestly, all the fun pretty much stopped when I used to live in Scotland when I was a kid, and then I left Scotland and moved down to Berkshire, and that's when the fun stopped.
Berkshire will do that to you.
Black
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah. So
never go.
My sister lives
there
there.
for a few hours.
My sister
Never
lives.
again.
Oh god, yeah. If you ever return for whatever reason, I sincerely hope you don't, never visit a small village called White Waltham, because it is Satan's arsehole.
Okay.
I feel like that's a challenge, and we should go.
I want to go. We should involve this.
Oh, God.
It will be in the
One
next
day, when I rise to power, I shall return to blow up the primary school there.
All right, that's fine, but make sure no one's in it.
Yeah.
That's my bit of advice, because
Well, it depends if any of my former teachers are there. If some of them are there, they're like, oh, well, you know, screw you!
all right, okay, so some teachers maybe invite them there under a false pretense.
Yeah.
You've won an award.
It's a party. Yeah, remember me.
Then blow it up.
Remember me. Yeah.
The
make
last
sure
thing
they
they shall
find
be
the
is
truth
my
first.
laughing countenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
But moving away from murder, I want to talk about
hard to not talk about it.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, it's such a big part of my life.
Yeah, it's the elephant in the room all the time.
Oh,
Can we just talk about it already?
On the there's a Legend of Val website we can go and you can read all the stuff and stuff. But there's also a shop. Now, what's on the shop?
mainly our comics. We have sold out of issue 1 and subsequently bundles, so we'll hope to get some more printed in a month or 2 or 3.
4 or 5.
By September, we'll have issue 1 back, definitely. And
You're
there's-
so popular. We get it.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Finally, I'm validated.
See, Mum, this is a real career.
No, I meant that. And we've got some stickers, some nice stickers.
Yeah, I noticed the stickers. But you think the stickers would be about the Legend of Val? They're not.
Oh, oh, see, there's me being rubbish at running my website again. We do have Legend of Val stickers. I'll put them up tonight.
Oh, great. Because the stickers that I saw were from a different franchise, if you will. What are they on?
The Room, the love of my life.
The Room. The Room. Oh, hi, Mark. The Room.
Oh, it's so good. The problem is I can't sell them at conventions because you're not allowed to sell fan art, and I take the rules seriously.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you got to set them under the table.
I couldn't-
What? Yeah.
yeah, we just walk around. We take
With
it.
the-
Meet me behind the
Yeah.
conference centre.
Good idea.
Everyone knows fan art. They should do a special convention just for
Fan art.
I mean, it's not often that you can get to buy a sticker that says, I definitely have breast cancer. So,
It's my favourite line. Yeah,
But- oh, guys, did you see The Disaster Artist?
I haven't seen it yet. I was
Should we
really,
watch it.
You should
Yes.
definitely watch it.
I was
Okay,
worried about
okay.
watching something that had become self-aware. Because where's the fun?
Yeah, right. I know.
You know, I don't know. I just find it so perplexing that such a genuinely good movie with genuinely interesting ideas and genuinely moving and funny performances can come out of something that's so shit. And the worst thing is, I had never seen The Room until I decided to go see this Disaster Artist. Obviously, I'd seen bits from it. I'd seen clips, like the first couple of weeks on my screenwriting undergrad course. My lecturers showed us clips from it. It's just like, don't do this. So it's like, okay, yes, good point. And I sat through the whole thing to watch The Disaster Artist just so I had context. was the most excruciating experience of my fucking life. I had to keep pausing it just to shout, like, no! People don't act like this!
I know, I love it. I think you a bit, but I personally find things done by amateurs so fascinating.
Oh,
I love it. And I think a lot of that comes into our work too, because we've never written a comic before. So we do make a few of those amateur mistakes ourselves. And for us, that's part of the fun. We used to make amateur films when we were teenagers.
Oh my God, that was our first thing that we always did. And PowerPoint presentations, which were animations.
Yeah, because we didn't know how to use computers. So we didn't know how to use animation programs or editing software. So all of our edits were very low tech with you got a digital camera with a remote control. That was revolutionary.
That was amazing.
A digital camera! Oh my God! When I made, I think I did like once when I was a kid. I made like a little film for myself featuring me and my sister and a little plane made out of Lego. It was called Indiana James. Guess what I was referencing?
Oh, it sounds just on our caliber.
Yeah.
But I did that on a videotape camera, like a cassette camera, and I had to like pause it in the right places, and I couldn't edit it.
That was how we edited it as we went. We were just doing stuff, and then we incorporated special effects. Okay,
what do you mean by special effects? Do you mean the battle royale one with the eyes?
Yeah,
that's my favourite bit.
Okay, so we did our own version of Battle Royale with just us two playing every single character.
How old were you when you did this?
We were in college, so 17, 18.
Okay, because I had an image in my head of two 12-year-olds reenacting Battle Royale.
I think we met when we were like 13, 14, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't start doing films. I think the first few films
we did Betty Spaghetti.
Oh, the first time we ever spent time together, we made a film with Betty Spaghetti. Pretty insensitive, actually.
Yeah,
about,
it was awful.
Oh gosh,
it wasn't great.
We're talking about oh god,
racial stereotypes, very tactless lesbian references. We were 17. No, we weren't.
No,
I mean, you can get away with that if you're doing it with Betty Spaghetti. If you were doing it with Polly Pocket, on the other hand, now that would be something else.
Yeah.
So Polly. We've grown from that, but as 13, 14-year-olds, when we first, I was like, Emily, come stay at my house. We've never hung out before, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
We dressed up as other people and made a film of Betty Spaghetti, and we wrote a song. That was lovely. And now,
what was the song?
I absolutely cannot sing it. It's too offensive.
Oh, okay, then no, obviously we won't have that.
It's a relic of the past that we cannot public.
No, we're not going to have that. Okay.
We're no longer proud of it.
Jeez. I'm starting to think you two might be legitimately insane.
Could be.
That was.
So let's talk about the other stuff you guys have done. Kimberley, your website right now, bit on the blink. So what sort of stuff have you done in the past, and what sort of stuff would you like to do in the future?
Haven't done a lot in the past. I'm basically just doing the Legend of Val. My website did have a bunch of uni projects on it, but they no longer wash. I need to put better stuff on there. That's why it's currently broken. I'm writing another comic, still a comedy, but slightly more serious and plot driven. One we've got now, that'll just be me. So's Emily.
No, it's looking good.
When can we expect this masterpiece?
I don't know. So I'm still I've started writing it. I've got the characters and the basic idea. So I don't know, a few months, end of the year.
We await it with eager anticipation.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Just the bits I've seen.
Having read The Legend of Val, I think we can be certain of that. So, Emily, I'm a bit familiar with stuff you've done. You've done lots of things like little cartoons and stuff. One I particularly like was The Life Cycle of a Mermaid.
Oh yeah. So I'm not with the whole comic thing as much, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
No, I'm more so I did illustration, that's what I do now, and I kind of really like storytelling, and I like children's books because I think there is so much fun that you can do with them. So I'm interested in stories, and I've worked on animation before.
Yes.
Not doing animation, but
Perched.
part of it. Perched, that's it, yeah. I coloured it in. Oh my god.
Hours and hours.
Hours and hours, yeah, frame by
You're
frame.
such a professional. What did you do on this amazing short animated animated short film? I coloured it in.
I know. But I did. Industry stuff.
I got a lot of practice in geography colouring in the British Isles. I never went over the line.
There's a lot of shading to think about that you don't maybe expect right away.
I know, yeah.
And didn't you do something, collaborate with someone for something on Channel 4? Was it Book of Blood?
That's it, yeah. That was with Liam again, so he's the one that did Perch. And then he was commissioned to do something for, Channel 4's Random Acts, Book of Blood. It's like a short 3-minute, I think it is. And I literally...
saw that one.
Yeah, all I did, I drew some book covers for it, which are part of the jokes. Yes. I did that! So they're in there, so that was quite nice. So, yeah. So, anything...
You got a special thanks in the credits. That's worth it.
Oh, yeah. I did, yeah. That was nice of him.
Yeah. That was nice of him to give me credit for that work I did for him. What a prince! We should give him a medal.
I didn't get paid, but it was nice of him to acknowledge me.
Oh, you did? Oh, jeez.
Oh, no, I did. I
Sure
did
you
get
did.
paid. No, I did get paid.
Okay,
That was just
okay.
a sweeping generalisation.
But that's too common. It's all too common. Yeah, this is the thing. If you do something creative, you're so used to talking yourself down and it's not professional and I don't know what I'm doing and everyone is familiar with that.
I mean,
We
no
all
one
do
knows
it.
what they're doing.
No one has a fucking clue.
Kids.
It's so open.
Stay in school.
I mean, if you
and
listen to this podcast before, you know I haven't a fucking clue what I'm doing, so...
Yeah, right. No one knows.
Yeah.
My advice is stay in school. Don't get an art degree.
Do accounting or something.
Accounting is the best way.
Go on long golfing holidays.
Someone is listening to this who has just finished getting their art degree.
It was a waste of money and time. You made a mistake. You just got to learn to live with it.
Oh, God. But one thing is a mistake is Legend of Val. Now, you guys have done Kickstarters for this before, but there's one coming up, isn't there?
We have a Kickstarter for issue 8, which is nearly finished posting online. So we'll be doing a Kickstarter to get that in print. Some people can buy on print from the website, but we do a lot of selling at cons. And I've got Thought Bubble coming up in September. I don't know if you're available then. You might not be. But I'll be there. So...
Well, Capers, if you see either of these two at Thought Bubble or indeed EddieCon, stop by and buy their shit. Do it.
Yeah. Yes.
All of it.
Talk to us about our comic, or not our comic, but
anything
nothing
really.
too personal.
Oh, no, that would be weird.
No.
Don't do that.
No.
Remember
No.
social rules.
Social boundaries, people.
Hey, if you guys break boundaries all the time, come on.
Yeah, but not in real life. Maybe
Yeah.
a bit.
Oh God, this conversation I think would be indicative of something else. Now, first of all, let's just finish off by saying this comic is genuinely good, genuinely funny. It goes in all sorts of interesting places. Capers, check it out. I would genuinely like to see it as a TV series or as a YouTube series or something. Just because, I mean, that's a very different terms of structure, so I don't know how that would work. But I would like to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So would I,
love it. If anyone is listening, please contact us about TV shows.
Yeah, we're open for, yeah.
Hey, we never decided.
Please give us money. Give us money for this thing we made.
Yeah, we beg of you.
Please do.
I'd like to buy a dog.
Yeah. Could I have Joanna Lumley play me? Because I just love
yeah,
her.
yeah,
I don't
that'd be
care
nice.
how old she is.
So the leads would be Joanna Lumley and Dwayne The Rock Johnson. That's nice.
Yes, what a combination.
Finally,
Yeah, that's
these
it.
two actors together.
The dream.
Yeah, this is where it would make sense.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer.
Those two together. And Kelsey
Andy
Grammer in The
Serkis.
Legend of Val.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
We've
What
done it.
cast.
Absolutely. You've got a vision, and it's going to be fully realised.
Yeah. So if we make enough money on our Kickstarter stretch goals, we'll get the movie
Yeah,
started.
you'll see that happen. Yeah.
If we can reach 3 million, then we'll...
That's how much we'll need. I was thinking like 200 quid.
I think I've WikiHowled this before, and it's something like 3 billion, so I might be a
3
bit
billion to
underestimating.
make a
Well, we've got to
feature
pay for
film.
these big names.
Yeah, I suppose so.
We could film a lot of it around Bexhill. No one would care.
We can tell them, well, it's good exposure for them.
Yeah,
they might take it on.
Listen, Dwayne, I know you're an up-and-comer, so trust me, this'll be good for you, trust me.
Yeah.
Exposure. People will learn about you this way.
Exactly.
We can get the man from Cooden Beach to play himself.
Yeah, if he's still alive. He didn't look well.
He was like, what, 30 at most?
As a 14-year-old, I thought he looked quite old. And like he might have some kind of lupus, kind of skin condition.
Do you know what lupus is?
Well, I know that it's never
It's like nothing.
It's never lupus.
It's never lupus, no.
And on that note, Capers, I think we're going to end the show. Now, before we leave, I just want to remind all you Capers about Leamington Comic Con. April 14th, we're going to provide a link in the show notes for you to get tickets to the Comic Con, where you can see our see us for free doing a live episode broadcast. Yeah, you can see us doing Podcapers in person. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Oh God, what are we doing? But no, seriously, check us out and just come to the con anyway, because it's going to be a lot of fun. You can find tickets in the show notes. And thank you very much to Kim and Emily for joining us today.
Ooh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
for having us.
It was fun to listen to us talk about our problems.
It's going to be fun for the
very
Capers.
cathartic.
It's going to be a very cathartic, as you say. And if you Capers enjoy the show, as I'm sure you will, please tell your friends, shout it from the rooftops. And if you haven't already, go back and listen to some of our other super episodes. Like, for example, we mentioned her before on the podcast, Rachel Smith. She's done a lot of good stuff. All right, well, it's sort of similar to these guys, but it's a bit more serious, but it's a lot very funny and sweet and heartwarming, much like Legend of Val is at times when, people aren't getting, shat on.
I don't think we've incorporated any scat into it so far.
We should then.
No.
I can provide evidence to the contrary. But you can listen to this show on iTunes, Podbean, YouTube, or at podcapers.com. We've got a Patreon. Check out the awards, patreon.com/AP2HYC. If you want to get in touch with us, suggest show topics, or maybe come on the show yourself, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at AP2HYC. And also, you can even email us at podcapers@AP2HYC.com. Thank you very much to Dan Harris for our logo, the lovely microphone with the red and blue 3D glasses. Those are mine. And thank you for listening. This has been Podcapers, the official podcast of A Place to Hang Your Cape. Cue the music!